communities across the country are preparing to celebrate Juneteenth. Well, here in Corpus Christi, events are already starting to take shape, and TABPHE is planning a full weekend to honor freedom and culture.
Our Josh Maxwell spoke with one of the organizers about the celebration's deeper meaning. He shows us a message that still holds true today.
Hey there, Coastal Bend. Josh Maxwell here with Miss Tina Butler, who is one of the organizers of the annual Juneteenth Festival. And Miss Tina, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
And so to kind of just kick it off, before we talk about the event, for people who may not know the history of Juneteenth, kind of just tell me a little bit about its cultural significance.
Okay. Juneteenth was started to be acknowledged here in Corpus Christi because in 1863 is when Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. But the slaves in Texas did not get the information about them being free until June 19th, 1865. General Gordon Granger arrived in Texas with the proclamation to read to the slaves. So once the slaves found out that they were free, then they began to celebrate and rejoice and, you know, do that. Whatever they did back then, you know, I'm sure they were happy about it. But that is when Texas slaves got the news, June 19th, 1865, that they had been freed 2 years prior.
And so what does that day mean to the African-American community here in Corpus Christi today?
Well, I know, like with my grandmother back then, what they would do is share stories, history, you know, things that went on. My grandmother was a sharecropper. You know, she picked cotton and things of that nature. Not that she was enslaved, but that's still what they did, you know, afterwards. But they passed down the history. And like with her, she was not born in a hospital. She was born by a midwife. And so many of her and her siblings, their birthdays are in our family Bible. You know, so there's a lot of history that goes along with that. And so we then find out we have relatives that, you know, we never knew of, you know, and then we listen to their stories, things that are not written down anywhere or not recorded anywhere. They would share that with the family, and then the next generation said with the next family, and, you know, it's just passed down. And we're losing a lot of that. You know, nowadays we are losing a lot of that. So we want to make sure that we continue the history, the legacy, passing the information down, because as you said, many don't know, you know, what Juneteenth is. And I'm happy to see that it's not only being acknowledged in Texas, since that was a Texas, you know, information, but across the nation.
And so keeping it on culture and tradition, I know in past years when we have covered the Juneteenth Festival, there's been a lot of cultural experiences that people can participate in.
Yes.
Kind of talk with me a little bit about what families can expect when they go out to this year's
Okay.
Juneteenth Festival.
Okay, well, we always try to have a theme, and we are the Texas Association of Black Personnel in Higher Education. We are comprised of group members from Del Mar College, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, CCISD. We also have some medical retirees, nurse practitioners, and things of that nature. So we have 4 initiatives that we always want to make sure that we have in our program. One of them is a reading initiative. Another one is community health and wellness, and then we have the higher ed component, you know, about assisting students getting to higher ed and while they're in higher ed, because many of them get frustrated once they get there. So we always have a theme. This year's theme, based on a lot of what's going on in the world today, is called Ways of Liberation. And so what we will have is a kid zone, which we always do to provide information about Juneteenth. We'll have a variety of artists, which we always do. This year, our medical concentration will be on diabetes. Last year we had a bus that came down from Arizona that did free breast cancer exams. So this year we'll be concentrating on diabetes and getting that information out, because we know African Americans are, you know, predominantly, you know, affected with diabetes. And then we will have our food trucks. We have vendors of selling all different type of wares and so forth. So that's what we'll have this year.
Yes. So you guys have a full lineup of things.
Full line of things to expect.
Right. I definitely need to come up with myself.
Yes, definitely. And just to, you know, let everyone know, we are watching the weather. So in case it does rain, we are looking for alternate locations. So we will have it rain or shine. So it's whether it'll be at Waters Edge Park or a different location, but we will have the Juneteenth Festival.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, guys. Well, Miss Tina, thank you so much for
Thank
joining us.
you.
And
Thank you.
for all of you guys watching, we will have more on this story on our website at KIII TV.